Welcome to Call of the Pen. Today is Wednesday, September 18th. A lot of good things happening, Steve. Fantasy, had a good weekend. Lucky weekend, I guess. I mean, it's all luck. Baseball-wise, I mean, all our divisions are about wrapped up, but the wild cards are going to get interesting. I guess that's why they do stuff like that, is put more teams and make it interesting. Otherwise, nobody would be watching. And then today we're also going to cover, let's talk a little about life stuff. What makes people successful, unsuccessful, the grind that everyone isn't, it's not for everyone. So we'll cover that in a little bit. But first, Steve, let's hear about your fantasy team.
Oh man, had a great weekend. 2-0. Both teams absolutely dominated. I don't know, but my first draft I was like, I'm not so sure about this team, but right now I led in points this week.
Wow.
It was a good one. And
who's on your team?
Who did great. I'm gonna have to pull it up, but I got.
Is it your super flex league where you have garbage quarterbacks?
Yeah, super. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that rule. Super flex league. So I got Dak Prescott quarterback. Whatever. But CD Lamb. Oh, for some reason it's not working. Here we go. Mike Evans, Kyron Williams, Ashane. Just picked up Hunter Henry. I'm desperate for tight ends. Kamara, who went off last week.
Oh, that's why you won.
Well, yeah, and then Carr was still available, so I swiped him real quick as my second quarterback, and he dominated.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, my bench is pretty deep. I mean, I love Keenan Allen. I know he's older and quarterback situation might be sketchy, but Zach Moss isn't bad. I like him. He had a good first game of the season, and then I'm a huge fan of
week this week.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Jaden Reed. Not right now though. That Love's hurt, but man, him and Love, like, they were nasty for me in the end of last year. So got some good backup in case something goes wrong.
It's not a bad team,
but they did well.
Nope. You're never positive about your fantasy, so that's pretty good to hear about. You said amazing and great, like that's good things.
So that's team that's team Hingle McCringleberry. This one I named Beezer 12 Washing Beard. Have you ever watched that Key and Peele skit when they make fun of like guys' ridiculous names called the East West Bowl? Dude, you got to watch it when we're done. It's amazing. Really? It's old now, but that's what I named my teams after. So Beezer 12 Washing Beard did pretty good this week too. I think I finished like third in points or something. So
nice. Week. Team Salty Nuts. My team's Salty Nuts. So 2-0. Went 2-0 this week. We played double headers, but bench DK Metcalf. Want to throw up all weekend, all Sunday, watching DK Metcalf go for 30. But Nico Collins and Kai Fairbairn Sunday night picked me up, and we won by like 20, and then the other one we won by like 50.
Yeah, dude, Nico Collins. He's
what
nasty.
A beast. What a beast. Please stay healthy. Please stay healthy, Nico. I'll never forget when I would warm up when I was for the Twins closing, a guy would yell at me not to mess it up because I was on his fantasy team. And I didn't play fantasy at the time, so I didn't really think anything about it. But man, like, they're living and dying through us.
Yeah, exactly. I think about that all the time where I'm like, come on, man. Like, you can't stay healthy one time. And then I'm like, wait a second. Wait a second.
Like, I was just telling the story yesterday about when you got carted off the field. I can only imagine how many people had you on their fantasy team and seen you getting carted off the field. And they just
the fantasy reports, inside information, No one had me on their fantasy team. Actually, maybe at the time I was doing okay until you broke my knee.
For holds, they probably had you on their fantasy team.
True. Until you ruined it.
I need to pitch the 8th inning for one day.
All right, immediately, everyone's like going on the waiver wire. Kinsler.
Yeah, everyone's picking me up. See, my Wikipedia and Google searches went way up. So we got let's talk about these divisions. I mean, what happened to the Orioles? Did the Orioles get bad, or the Yankees just get really good?
They got bad. I saw a stat. I think it's since early July or maybe All-Star break. They haven't won a series against a over 500 team.
Well, remember we talked about the trade deadline, how we were like, they didn't really do anything. They didn't fix the
Yeah.
bullpen. They brought in Zach Eflin, and which he's a solid pitcher, but he's not like a game changer for a pennant race. And then they went and got the Eloy Jimenez, and they brought in the lefty from the Phillies who they didn't want anymore. Like they just didn't do much to make a run.
Yeah, Eloy's having kind of a tough year. He's still young, which is crazy, but he's struggling. And then let me see, what's Eflin doing? Didn't he just get hurt?
He always has back problems and knee problems. I know that. Tough body. But their run differential is plus 73, or the Yankees are plus 132.
Eflin's throwing
the Orioles are. What's that?
Eflin's throwing the ball really well.
Yeah, he's just not the. Oh, he's a good starter. He's a solid starter. Orioles are 3-7 in their last 10.
Right.
And then our Royals have taken a step back. My Royals have taken a step back.
Oh, are they floating out of the wild card?
It's close. Wild card. Yeah, I think they are out of the wild card. The fact that they won't make the wild. Yeah. Oh no, they're in there right now. They are second wild card.
Okay, they're game and a half up. I see it.
They're game and a half up. Yeah. Well, 3 games really on Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not bad. Even they've lost 3 in a row. It's funny. I was watching their game the other day, and they brought in Long. We wanted them to bring in Long. Guy gave it up.
Did he really? Yeah, I didn't see it. It's tough, man. Because you know how much pressure it is. You want to be the guy, like, all right, I'm going to get it done. And then you give it up. And you're like, well, crap.
You got the loss last night. Let's see. They scored, man, in 4, 5, and 6. Detroit scored 7 runs. And our guy Long came in the 5th so he came in the 5th probably with runners on. Let's see.
Yeah, I was gonna say Detroit they were getting beat, pretty handedly. No.
Yeah, game? Seth Lugo. So Seth Lugo gave it up, and they brought in Long, and Long gave it up, and the rest of the bullpen did good. They just, the Tigers' bullpen's pretty good.
Yeah. Seth Lugo.
Man, if the Tigers get in after trading Flaherty and all that, like that's amazing. You know what the best thing the Tigers did is Javier Baez going on the IL.
Yeah, again, so another stat. They're like 14-6 since he went on the IL. Tough.
That's
tough.
That's tough.
Hate to see it. I love Javi, but
love Javi. Saved me a lot of runs, a lot of hits.
Definitely.
And then Phillies, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
They have the most wins in baseball. They do have the most wins in baseball. They're at 91. They've turned it on. But the Braves, outside of the wild card, they've lost 3 in a row. The Braves oh man. I mean, it sucks for all their injuries, but for how bad the Mets were in the beginning of the year, for the first 2 months, they were so bad. And I mean so bad.
Yep. Well, were they crediting it to that like McDonald's or Burger King character?
Oh yeah. And then they brought in your boy him and his Oh My God's OMG song. So
oh no way.
He performed it after a game. Did you see that?
He did it earlier this year, and it was like electric.
Yeah. Ever since then, they've been like on a roll.
Yep. I mean, it's pretty incredible. He was like out of baseball for the most part.
A lot of time.
And I mean, yeah, but he could always pick it. But he really wasn't a bad bat. He could.
Good player.
Yeah, he could swing it. I mean, it wasn't. He's gonna not hit for power. He's just quality ABs. And so, I don't know.
Funny you say that. In 2019, I threw him an 0-1 changeup, hit it out, and I was like, "Why am I ever throwing that guy a changeup? Like, what am I doing?" He a home run to the littlest dude on the field. And it was way back.
What year was that? 2019.
Yep. When I was nasty.
Still haven't gotten over it. I see.
No, like I remember the home runs I give up.
But then the Mets. So Iglesias, I guess he plays shortstop and second, and he's still hitting 323.
He's hitting 330 with an 820 OPS. This guy was out of baseball. Like,
By the way, add insult to injury. Ronald Acuna's little brother gets called up to the Mets, same division, and hits a nuke. Gets his first
way.
homer. Like, dude, it's like a spitting image almost. Batting stance are very similar, same swing.
Really?
Yeah. Currently, I mean, 11 ABs hitting 455 with a bomb.
Jeez, maybe I should have another kid, and maybe that one will be the good baseball player.
What do you mean? Knox not a good baseball player?
Oh man, Knox's very first is a scrimmage. Knox has never played, so he's just learning. His first at bat wasn't bad. He grounded out the first base, but they brought him in to pitch, and this poor kid's never pitched a day in his life or even practiced pitching. And I was just like, why are they doing this to this kid? Very first pitch though, swing and miss. And I'm like, oh wow. After that, it was like 5 hoppers to the plate. He has no idea how to like get whip, and with his arm, it's like a straight, like this.
Man,
arm.
if only he had someone to teach him how to pitch. I mean,
if only this kid would want to listen to anybody.
Sounds like his dad. Actually, you did listen.
Oh, I was a great listener.
Yeah, you were. You were a good listener.
He just does not want to be taught anything. Hopefully, one day he will let me, and we can figure it out. And then his next at bat, he worked a walk, but he had a good swing and miss. It was actually a good swing. So,
well, let's talk about that. So, not just Knox, but like you said, you want to talk about life. Like, what does it take for? What was the question? How, like, what makes a successful big baseball player, person, whatever?
Person in life. You know, like I was doing a podcast with a friend 2 days ago. He's a big real estate land developer in Texas. And we're just talking about the grind. I mean, just the grind, the routine of life, of work, and being successful. And the guys that stick into the grind are the ones that, make it out of being successful. And like he's changed his life around a little bit. He's up at 4. He's getting the workout in. He's getting his prayer in. He's getting, everything he's getting in, reading. And he says he's just no alcohol. I'm not saying drinking is bad, but when you're trying to stay away from alcohol, you probably think a little clearer and you sleep a lot better. So you just tunnel vision. This guy's in the tunnel vision, which I remember. I think me and you probably get there a few times. Probably our best seasons when you have that tunnel vision of just being successful. You're just wrapped in of just the process. You just love the process, and I think that's when people get in that mode is what makes them the most successful, or they'll to wherever they want to go. I mean, I'm not saying like you're gonna get like, oh, you're gonna get to the big leagues now, or you're gonna be the top sales agent, whatever. But I think you just get in a better feel of life, your quality of life. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I went up to North Carolina the last 2 days to speak to a baseball academy, kind of on this subject. Now, what I said wasn't exhaustive. Like I didn't hit every point, but I really try to challenge the kids. And it's like a Christian baseball academy. But I'm like, when you wake up in the morning, what is it that motivates you? Everyone's got a different motivation. For me, my faith in Christ is what motivates me every day when I get up, and the Bible says to be more than a conqueror in Christ. And so I wake up, I'm like, all right, like I'm going to get after it. Now, I'm not saying right now I'm in the grind, right? Like I think my life's pretty easy right now, but in the baseball season, it can be a grind. Yeah. It's an awesome job, but it gets mentally, physically difficult, and so it's a tough reminder to wake up every morning like, hey, I need to get after it because I'm motivated by, like I said, my faith. That motivates me to be the best that I can for my teammates. Now, if you're in a job world, I would imagine like, my motivation's my family. I want to put, food on the table. I want to create a legacy for my kids, stuff like that. Like, but again, everyone has a different motivation. I mean, that's the starting point for me, and we can go into other stuff. But
yeah, I think the first you got to figure out, I think what's the goal. I think my first goal, obviously, when we were younger, was to get to the big leagues. So you had to get tunnel vision, but then you have to have that look yourself in the mirror moment. Like, am I really giving everything I got to be where I want to be? Like, am I really giving? Like, and then 1 year I realized I was like, I think it was after 2008. Like, I never really gave myself a full chance. Did I really work hard? Did I stop partying? I was an independent ball. Like, how am I ever going to get an independent ball? It's like, well, just devote yourself to being the best version of yourself. and then see what happens. And if you don't make it, you make it. But at least if you don't ever give yourself a chance, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. So I think that's where my first goal was.
Sure. I mean, so within that, like, well, what's the process look like? There's so many. I mean, we could talk for days. I think one of the biggest things is who you surround yourself with too. Like,
Yeah.
I know when I'm coming up through the minor leagues, I mean, dude, like you're on the team, but it's not. It doesn't feel like a team really. I guess some are different, but everyone's an individual trying to make their way up. And honestly, the guy next to you is kind of your competition. So
100%.
if you get blinded by that, I feel like you can kind of lose your way. For me, like I wanted to be around guys that push themselves because I wanted to, be pushed as well. So I had a good group of guys that I just kind of watched how they went about their business. Guys that were honestly less talented, but they were better players than I was because mentally and physically they were just ahead of the game. And so I've just picked their brain. I want to learn, like, and we were
Yeah.
all good friends. And so I think who you surround yourself with too is as part of your motivation is crucial.
But did you have to have a moment to where you're like, what I'm doing isn't working, so why don't I just, or what made you want to follow or surround yourself with better people? Because I think we all get into the league or minor leagues, we're all like a deer in headlights. We don't know what to do. We're still trying to find our way, and we'll do it our way until we fail.
Yeah, that's a sense of, I'm not gonna say maybe selfishness, but it is your career, right? So if you do it your way and you fail, at least you can look back and be like, hey, I did it how I best knew. But what if you were wrong? Like I want to learn from everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Guys, especially guys that are successful. For instance, and one of my best friends in baseball, his name is AJ Batista. His name is AJ Batista. He's not dead. He's a pitching coach, pitching coach at Georgia Southern. Incredible pitching coach. And anyways, he was 5'9", 5'10", threw straight over the top with just a 88 to 92 mile an hour fastball and like a good curveball, like a big 12-6. But like he would dominate every level, and I'm like, how's this guy doing this? Like I'm watching guys like twice as good as him just get rocked. But then you watch his process day to day, and you're like, okay. So then I'm seeing him, and I'm young. I was raw, like coming out of college. I just learned how to throw hard all of a sudden. And he's taking notes on every hitter. If he knows in minor leagues, when you're going to pitch. He's in the dugout watching hitters' tendencies, whether they're bailing out, they step across the dish, where they set their hands, and he's taking notes in a composition book on every single hitter. And he's like, "Hey, come with me in the dugout. I'll show you how I read the hitter's hands and stuff." So I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, because the hands will show you everything.
Yeah. So little things, it was like things like that. Like I started loving that process because of a guy like him. Like I would have never figured that out on my own. He taught me how to visualize pitches pre-bullpen, like stand on the mound, take deep breaths, close your eyes, and just feel the ball coming off your fingertips, and then just imagine you driving a fastball down and away over and over and over again, and then do it with a towel drill. And sure enough, it starts translating. Like, things like that. It was just super helpful for my career.
I think little young kids can. I gave a pitching lesson the other day on Sunday. 12-year-old kid, and first of his mechanics were just everywhere because all he's trying to do is just throw everything as hard as he can, and just no idea what's happening. Just no idea where it's going, and mechanics are everywhere. But it's just like, can we just calm down and just be under control for let's throw strikes under control, and then we'll figure it out from there. But it's just like the little things of maturity, I guess. That luckily you had a mature, I guess, mentor for you that helped you to get through the minor leagues to prepare. And I remember the thing is, when I first got to the big leagues, in the minor leagues, I didn't have anyone tell me about routine. I think I was an independent ball guy coming in. It was like, people just don't want the independent ball guy to be successful. So it was like me against the world. I'm just going to F everybody. And that was my mentality. That's how I got to the big leagues. But then I got hurt and I got sent back, and then I got out, and it's like, okay, how do I get back? And then Mitch Stetter, he was a lefty in the big leagues for a while, and then he had hip surgery. And I was coming back from elbow surgery. So we were both in AA, both designated off the roster. And then we just became we started a routine that every morning I'd pick him up. We go to Starbucks. We sit for Starbucks, hang out. Then we go to the gym. We get some cardio and get a workout in. And then we go to the field. And it was like, that was the routine every day. We were just in that grind of just, at least we had someone together
Yep.
of just grinding. You know, our process was we're just so focused, tunnel vision. We got to get back to the big leagues. I mean, he got back up to AAA. He never got back to the big leagues, but he helped me get back to the big leagues because he showed me the routine because he had been in the big leagues way longer than I ever been.
Yep. So 2 words stood out to me that you said: routine and every day. So you were consistent in what you did. I'm
Yeah, I had to do
convinced that if you have a brutal routine, a brutal weightlifting program, I wouldn't say brutal, like not great, um, but you're consistent in it,
it.
then
Yeah,
I feel like that goes a long ways versus, oh, I have a great routine, but you do it sparingly. No, it's the consistency of everyday life of doing those things. That's what makes the grind, um, you know, enjoyable for me. But
yeah.
also, that's what also leads you to success. It gives you the best opportunity to be successful every day.
Yes, if you, especially when you think you have a goal in that, it's hard to wake up and you have no goal and you're just doing routine. You're like, why am I even doing this?
Right.
But like, what if get yourself a goal? I don't even know. Let's just say, I mean, how can we do this for an everyday person? Like, obviously, we're lucky we're retired now. We sit here and it's hard to get a goal. But
Well,
I don't
yeah,
want to feel
that was
like
the
I want to
hardest.
be a good example for my kids. I don't want to be. I mean, I still need a routine for me to be a good dad. The routine helps me be in a better mood.
Bingo. So that's it for me too. Like, it's a discipline in your routine, like not just sleeping in every day. Obviously, like I like
Yeah,
to get up earlier too, and like your buddy, I like to read and start my day off like that. And then then I go up, and if my wife doesn't get my kids up, I get the girls up and get them ready for school. So my routine is kind of set right now. It's kind of nice because after baseball was over, I was all over the place for a minute, and
yeah,
you're like kind of freaking out. You have no sense of direction. Like, no, like, all right, this is my job right now. This is where, this is what I need to be doing. I'm a dad right now, and thankfully I can be around my kids more because of what we did for a living, prior to
yeah,
retirement. And so, all right, so what's my routine gonna look like? Now this is a good routine for me. And so I'm trying to be the best dad I can be. How do I do that? By being consistent in what I do every day and what I
yeah. I
believe
like
in.
that.
And so I think it's huge, just the consistency aspect. And when you say routine, I'm like, our routine's a lot different than I was playing ball. I'm not foam rolling every single day, talking fantasy football with you, which was
No,
awesome.
definitely. Like I walk into the gym, I'm like, I don't do no foam rolling. I'll just move around a little bit. But at least I'm in the process of somewhat training and just working out, and it just it just releases. You just feel better throughout the day to where the kids come home and you're ready for that chaos that's about to happen. But if you don't get that routine and you're kind of on edge and that chaos comes home and you're just like angry
Yeah,
with
you're
them.
unprepared. Yep.
Oh man,
You
it's
didn't get what you wanted to you didn't get what you wanted to accomplish done that day, and then the kids come home and you're trying to do some things and they're distracting you because you didn't follow
yeah,
your routine earlier in the day. That's when, like, as a dad, things I notice in my life anyways, things start to go sideways where I get irritable and impatient and then having to apologize to my kids before bed.
yeah.
It's because, like, I'm being selfish with my time. I had plenty of time earlier to get stuff done.
I had
Yeah.
all day. It's
But
amazing how you dropped them off and you do your routine, and next thing you know, they're back home already. You're like, what the heck just happened? And then some days you're like, I don't want to do that routine. I want to enjoy my day. And then you come home, you're like, I just wasted a whole day.
yeah. I think my biggest struggle would be, like, if I was a business person like your buddy. Like, I don't know, I'm not a business minded person, but I know how much work it takes. So he's grinding, he's on a true grind. But having to do that and being exhausted from your work and then coming back home and being a dad, like, that takes a whole nother level, especially since he gets up as early as he does. Like, you're sleep deprived, and
Yeah.
but I feel like you adjust to it because now this is a consistent part of your life.
I
So
think, yeah. And I think the sleep thing, because when you're excited about what you're doing and you're motivated, I just think sometimes the sleep's just out the window. We've talked about it before, how I just miss the grind of just being in that, of just chasing the dream and just, I mean, not even being in the big leagues. I've missed the grind of chasing it to get to the big leagues. That was fun. You're
yeah.
just so hungry every day, just dreaming for the chance, and but you can feel yourself getting better at everything you're doing. Your pitching's getting better, your body's getting better, your mind's getting sharper. Like that's the fun part.
Hmm. Yeah, when things seem to be coming out of reach, like when your back's up against the wall, I feel like is when for me it became more fun because now the pressure's on. I remember when I tried to sign I signed a minor league deal with the Astros. They basically said like you have a spot if you throw well this spring. And so every single day I went out there with like a chip on my shoulder, ready to get to work, like excited about it, like getting to know the guys. And dude, like the pressure was on in spring training games finally. Like it wasn't just working on stuff. It's now
Oh
like
yeah,
I have to show these guys what's up, you know, and
it's crazy anxiety. And you
actually
give up
had
2 homers, was it 2 or 3 homers your first outing?
3 homers my first outing. And I was like, they wanted me to throw changeups though. They're like, we want to see your changeup. I'm like, as soon as I came in dugout, first things out of my mouth were, that's why I don't throw changeups. And they started laughing. And then I didn't give up a run after that. Like I was just getting after it. Like nope. Like every single hitter was, you know, in the way of me, you know, trying to get a job and providing for my family. I mean, at that point I was set, but like that's how I looked at it. Like I want to be a
Still,
good example to my kids and my, you know, my family, and like I want to win this job so they can enjoy Houston. I have a lot of friends out in Houston. That would have been an awesome year, but it is what it is. It didn't work out.
no,
I don't
you
know if
still
I
got a
told you.
job after
Yeah, I ended up signing a week later, but I don't know if I told you what happened and all that before, but I won't get into it here.
it. You never would. I would, but you never would.
No, it's all right.
That's the thing. What was that? 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the minor league deal with the Phillies then for some reason. You know.
Oh, dude. Yeah, we were in the same boat that year because
Oh
I
yeah.
remember we were both struggling. Our jobs were kind of in. I had to go in and talk to Perry Manias in the gym. They were going to release me. They gave me like an ultimatum. I'm like, listen, I feel good. Like I'm starting to feel like myself. Just if I'm brutal in my next couple outings, please just release me. But I'm telling you, I'm right there. And he gave me a shot, man. It was awesome.
What
And that's when I
respect
remember
that is.
texting you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really great. And I remember texting you. I was in Seattle, and we were challenging each other. And in fact, you still
Oh
owe me a round of golf
yeah.
to see who would have a better month.
What
So
sucks is I was just starting to like feel normal, and I just had 2 scoreless outings, struck out 2 to like end a big jam, and we came back and we were down 7, came back and won. So it's like a good feeling, and then they released me the next day, and it was like that's why I just probably like lost my mind on them. But I was like, I'm just figuring it out. Like we've been waiting all year. Like I'm just figuring it out. That
yep.
was frustrating. But I remember that spring training. I had crazy anxiety. One, Knox broke his jaw when they were in.
Oh, that was that spring.
Yeah. So
Oof.
I almost went home, but I didn't. So my anxiety, well, I just knew like, I knew this probably was close to my last year. I really needed this contract because I left the Miami contract was a guarantee, but it was like 3 times less. So I know I left guaranteed money on the table to go to Philly, but make 3 times more. But I knew like the pressure was on to make this team, and I knew if I made this team, like I was probably going to be good to go.
Yeah.
So I had crazy anxiety. So every day about just freaking, I needed to dominate.
Yep. That's
And
great.
this team doesn't know me at all. I know nobody over. All I know is Bryce. So I have no ins with any coach. That
Wow.
was tough. That was really tough.
That is tough. So I guess the lesson learned there is part of, I guess, this whole process is, you know, even if you're a successful person, like you got to remain focused. It's easy to get nonchalant and just float,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, just coast on through because things are good. But when it starts hitting the fan, which it inevitably will someday, you got to be prepared for it, you know. And
That was a
thankfully,
good
I think we
point.
were.
What I was talking with my buddy the other day, he owned bars and restaurants at the time. They just opened them up in Chicago during 2020. So COVID is hitting, and he owned all this stuff. So then he had to close it all down, give investors money back, and then he was like, I don't even know what I was going to do. He goes, all I did was just went back to the basics of what got me to where I was. He goes, got out of Chicago, had to pay the taxes, moved to the North Carolina at the time, and he just went back to what got me there. So he just started grinding. So it's just like when me and you won fight or flight, even though we probably didn't need to make the team, but it's like we went back to what got us there. Like get back into the grind, staying focused, process.
Yep.
So that would
No
be
doubt.
our advice to anyone is like I talked about with him. I was just like, it's amazing what would happen when you have to fight for your home. Because I remember 2015, I had just bought my first bigger house. But then I was in a minor league deal within the Twins, and all of a sudden I'm like, I remember talking to my financial advisor. I'm like, I think I got to sell my house. He's like, well, why don't you just pitch better and then you'll be just fine? I'm like, So it was like fight or flight right there. Like I'm pitching from my house. All of a sudden, you're a man. I got a kid. I just had a kid.
Yep.
Things change, man. You find out what you really are. Then now let's see your process.
That's really good. I mean, what a motivator, family. It's just like one of in 2021. I remember, I'm getting older. It's a long season, and I'm running in from the bullpen in a day game. It's blazing hot, and I hear, "Dad, let's go, Dad!" Like my girls are screaming for me in the stands, and I was like, "Dude, I could run through a brick wall right now."
That is
was
awesome.
I just told this story the other day. I was like, it was so cool. Like, man, I love what I do.
Now you got all the energy in the world when you're just grinding. You're just like, this sucks. I'm out here. But all of a sudden, those kids been waiting all day for dad to run in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sweating it out in the stands. My wife's grinding with a baby and two girls that can't sit still. And here it is, just for one inning.
That's so funny because the other day, I mean, it's on a way smaller scale, but like Knox, we're at a race, and I was mad at Knox about giving up. Like he was winning, then he made a dumb move and he gave it up, and I was all mad. And then I had to go race, but the whole time I'm just mad at Knox. And then I race and I go back and watch the video, and he has Knox in the background. Let's go, Dad! Go, Dad! It's like, why am I mad when this kid just wants to watch me anyways? It's just like so different.
Yeah. I think what would you say about this? Do you think if you had to do it all over again, you'd hold on to things more loosely in terms of like baseball, like not take it, you take it serious, obviously. It's your job. You want to honor your employer, whoever team you're playing for, but like just chill out a little bit with the results. Like for me, I wish I held on to it just a tick more loosely and just gave me a little bit more ease of mind. I mean, not ease in what I do, but go after it as hard as I can. But like, like my kid, when you go back home, whether you win or lose, it's like you see your kids, and it's like you hear people talk about it all the time. Like the perspective changes when you have a family.
Yeah. My best year is when I was more present, 2019, because I had talked to, I mean, I was struggling because I had signed that 2-year deal with Washington going into 18. So I was so caught up into like trying to be better, and then wasn't really present at home because I wasn't pitching well. And, it wasn't a good situation for the family. But I remember talking to Tewksbury, our mental health guy that we had in Chicago.
Yeah.
And he just helped me way better to get in the pro. Even when I got home, just put everything away, just think about like, okay, where am I? What am I doing? Okay, I'm at home. Okay, I got to be dad. That's what I'm doing. It was like I had to keep reminding myself to be more present, and I had a way better season because like good or bad, I went home and didn't matter anymore. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm home. Now, what's the process now? Okay, I'm just gonna hang out with my kids.
Yeah, I think you said it was like the best thing for you that year was having like a 30-minute drive home because you can you decompress a little bit on your drive home and then be a dad when you get there.
Yeah, for sure.
Separate the two jobs,
Living in Wrigleyville the first year when I got traded, oh my gosh, that was bad. My wife she caught a video of me air pitching in the basement like 3:00 in the morning.
Dude, until my last throw, I was thrown off the mound. But like I remember being in a hotel room working on drills. I'm like, I'm all out of whack with my hand separation. I'm like dry drilling in the hotel room by myself. If anyone saw me, I think I was a psycho.
It's the worst. It is so draining and frustrating, and you get caught in it, and all of a sudden you'll do it, and you're like, oh, that's it. And then you'll lay down and you watch TV, and you're like, I got to feel that again. Then you get up and you're doing it again. It's like, just stop. My brain just stop, please.
Mm-hmm. It's like a giant puzzle you're trying to put together. I was explaining this to a kid the other day, and it's like there's like you always feel like there's that one missing piece, and once you put that piece in there, everything's just gonna. But then you always start losing pieces. There's something always to fix.
And then you go to the field and you play catch, and you're like, oh, that feels good. And you go on the game and you get slack, and you're like, well, that is now you're back to air pitching again. That's the worst. I hate
air pitching.
That's why I need family around to distract me. If I was by myself, forget it. I'm air pitching.
You need a throwing partner to stand in as a left-handed hitter with his glove down across the zone and throw front hip sinkers to.
What a good teammate.
This is terrifying. I still have nightmares about that.
At least you can tell all your friends about it. Nastiest sinker you've ever.
Hey, I got a drill. Yeah, it really was. I got a good drill for you guys. Stand like this. You guys can't even catch the ball yet, but.
Well, guys that throw sinkers, here, get your throwing partner to stand over there. Have them aim it to the side of you, and it'll come back to you. Sometimes they'll yank it, though.
I was trying to help a kid on I'm gonna be careful saying this. Now we might get requests if people actually watch this on Instagram. He's a side armor. He's like picking my brain. I like answering questions on there every now and then when I have time. And he's like, trying to set up hitters. He's like, lefties see my sinker more. I'm like, yeah, because they see it longer. It's like, if you're gonna throw it, learn a front hip sinker. What's a front hip sinker mean? I'm like, oh boy, he's a college kid. Like he started at their front hip, let the sucker run back over the plate, like just to keep him honest. I got to keep him away from looking out over. What's looking out over mean? I'm like, all right.
Oh my gosh,
It was great though. I love it. Back to the basics, baby.
Yep. Well, that's all we got for today. Hopefully, if this conversation helps one person, I think we did our job.
Yep, I hope so too. That's great.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Good luck on your fantasy team, Steve.
You too, brother.